Election day here in New York City is just 2 weeks away. It's become a national conversation. Joining us right now is a discussion about the mayoral race, the markets, the economy, and so much more. Pershing Square CEO Bill Ackman is here. Good morning to you.
Morning.
You have been quite outspoken on X and elsewhere about this mayoral race. A lot of folks around the country looking at New York as a proxy for what the Democratic Party even looks like. You've been calling on Sliwa to get out of the race. You've been calling on all sorts of things to happen. Right now, in terms of where you think things actually are, based on what the numbers are, we've been looking at Polymarket and other things, and it seems like Zohran Mamdani is the clear favorite, not just the clear favorite, but that almost under any circumstance he's going to win at this point.
Remember, Polymarket is probability wins the election based on the facts that exist now. Probably accurate. However, if Sliwa were to say, I'm not going to run, right now the polls are the most recent poll is 44 Mamdani, 33 Cuomo, and 19 Sliwa. I've seen polls that say the Sliwa voters are going to vote 65% for Andrew, 7% other, and 25% won't vote, something like this. But if Sliwa voters vote for Andrew, Andrew wins. The key is Sliwa has to be out of the race.
And does Sliwa not only have to get out of the race, and we were looking at the front page of the New York Post this morning, which was also calling for that. Does he have to get out of the race and endorse
He doesn't have
Cuomo?
to endorse. Look, I think the smartest thing he could do for his legacy is to say, look, I love New York. I care about this city. I've put a lot of energy in keeping this city safe. The polls, the facts just tell me I'm not going to win this time. I'm going to step aside. I'm going to rely on Andrew to take care of the city. I'm going to keep doing my job protecting New Yorkers, and I'm going to run in 4 years. And then we'll build we'll have a gold statue of him in Times Square. And I know actually a guy offered to pay for a gold statue of him.
Let me ask you this.
Gold, by the way, it's gone up in value a lot.
That's expensive.
Let me ask you this. We have had Cuomo on the broadcast. We've asked Zohran to come on. He has not come on yet.
There's a reason for that.
And there's an invitation that's still standing.
By the way,
watching.
Here's what you should do. You should go to the DSA website. It says the capitalist economic system is the cause of violence, unemployment, and a climate crisis and poses an existential threat to life on Earth.
That's the Democratic Socialist.
That's the DSA, which is Zohran's policy. How can he come on CNBC?
So my question to you, though, is when you look at sort of the number 1, 2, and 3 issues that you have with him, and I am assuming that your vote for Cuomo is effectively a vote against him.
It is.
Right?
And I like Andrew.
What are the issues for you? Is it about capitalism? Is it about policing in the city? Is it about anti-Semitism? I mean, give me the list, but in the true priority, because I think there's a lot of people who think that maybe you're in this because you don't want your taxes raised. Okay.
So, number one, I love New York. I love New York City. It's been very good to me. I care about this place. It's one of the greatest cities in the world. But it has issues. Okay, where is Mamdani right? He's right that we have an affordability issue here. Okay, why do we have an affordability issue in New York? Rent is too high, right? Utility costs are too high. Why is that? Right? The answer is because of policies that he wants to make worse, right? Real estate developers would love to build more apartments in New York. There's enormous demand, right? Economics, if we increase, there's not enough supply to meet the demand, so what happens is rents go up, right? Why is that? Because we make it, one, extremely difficult to build in New York, all kinds of regulatory, other, not in my backyard, protests, things that drive up costs that make it uneconomic to build new housing. Then there's rent regulation, right? If you're telling people we're going to freeze rents, well, number one, you can only freeze rents on 1 million, maybe apartments, not the other, 25% of the housing stock, not the other 75% of the housing stock. We've got 50,000 apartments that sit vacant because the owner can't economically afford to renovate them because they can't earn a return on the incremental capital they put in. If you look at places like Argentina, which deregulated, rent control, rents come down because supply comes back into the market. Some supply comes in immediately, apartments that are being held off, and then developers start building. What you want in New York is you want cranes everywhere building apartments, and that's going to drive down, that's going to keep rents from growing at a rate in excess of inflation. So affordability is a problem. Why are electricity costs so high? Because of Green New Deal, because of people fighting power lines, because of people, shutting down, natural gas, nuclear power plants. And that has caused the cost of, and we have all this demand from AI, of course, for power. That's made it more expensive for people. So he's right on affordability, but his policies are wrong. So that's an important issue. Another important issue is public safety, right? The mayor actually probably has more impact on public safety. That's probably the most important issue for most New Yorkers. And if he has a hostile relationship with the police department,
right.
Okay, you already are reading stories about people retiring in advance of Mamdani being mayor. If you look at what he said prior to the last few months of running for mayor, he was a defund the police are wicked, the police are evil. These are his words, his tweets, it's sort of in the record. That's not a guy who's going to be able to motivate the police. He's talked about, shutting down Rikers, right? So I would say affordability, safety, his policies are wrong. He's accurate in identifying the problems with the city, but his policies are going to destroy the city.
Explain why you think, in your mind, he is doing as well as he is, on track to become the next mayor of this city.
He's a very talented politician. He's charming. He's got a nice smile. Now, I would argue if you watched him in the debate, every time he answered a question, he'd finish with his smile. It's a constructed smile, and it makes me not trust the guy.
So here we are having this conversation. He now uses you and your name almost as a proxy to suggest why he should win, which is to say, interestingly, when you talk to especially younger people, they say, if the real estate industry, for example, if my boss hates him and doesn't want him to win, I want him to win because I think that he's going to help me.
And they're going to come to regret that. I mean, if you 1% was just a editorial in the Wall Street Journal this morning. 1% of New Yorkers pay 40% of the taxes in the city. And if you attack that 1%, those are the most mobile 1% of New Yorkers. And they can live 183 days outside of the city, and they can take their tax revenues elsewhere.
You've stayed here. You've been in New York this
Yes,
time.
I have.
Would this be the thing that pushed you out of the city?
Look, what I would say is, putting me aside, it's a marginal cost decision for everyone who's in New York City. And you weigh the benefits of living here for 183 days of the year versus the costs. One of the costs is taxes, and not just personal taxes. Personal income taxes are going to go up. I think the bigger issue is he's talking about taking corporate income taxes for a business located in New York City to 21%. That's before you get to federal, right? And a CEO is a fiduciary for the shareholders of the company. And if you can locate the business in Miami and eliminate 21 percentage points of corporate tax, he's going to do that, right? So the matching New Jersey and forgetting that there's also New York City, New York City and New York State, taxes here, it's going to destroy the city.